Hello again everybody, Jeremy Latham here, I'm the hip surgeon. We've had a great summer here in the UK, endless sunny days. Now it's early September, the kids are back at school, so I thought it's about time I did another video. I had a few patients come to see me recently asking about stem cell treatment for arthritis of their hips. I had a look at the evidence and there is no hard evidence that stem cells will cure arthritis. I'll talk about that a bit more in the video. What I thought would be quite interesting is to put stem cells into the context of medical history. I'm fascinated by the 18th century. This was a time of massive change throughout the world, but particularly in England. The Industrial Revolution was well underway, and there were loads of people offering quack treatments for incurable diseases. People were dying left, right and centre from the effects of TB, venereal diseases and smallpox. Alcoholism was rife. Apothecaries and quack doctors were selling all sorts of potions and pills. Mostly, it seems to be, composed of opium, cannabis and cocaine. So people were, frankly, a bit worse for wear back in those days. It's amazing that anything productive was done. But yet it was a time of great revolutions in culture, art and music. The great classical composers were all in the 18th century. Haydn, Mozart and Beethoven, all of my favourite composers. So I hope you enjoy the video. If you've got any questions or comments, please do get in touch. If you like the channel, please subscribe. Hope you enjoy it. Thanks for watching. I was lucky enough to live and work in Bath for a couple of years during my surgical training. It's a wonderful city and I love its Georgian buildings and history. Georgian life for many people was short and brutal, but the Industrial Revolution helped create a growing middle class who aspired to a better way of life. Waterways and infrastructure like the Basingstoke Canal were developed, and towns and cities underwent rapid growth thanks to the great Georgian engineers and architects. There wasn't a health service, and seeing a doctor was expensive. There wasn't much that they could do for most illnesses, but there were hundreds of quacks, healers and apothecaries to whom people would turn if they wanted treatment. They advertised in newspapers, magazines, posters and flyers, and offered wonder cures for seemingly everything. The barber surgeons removed lumps, bumps and stones, but without anaesthetics and antibiotics, the results weren't exactly great. Doctors and healers fought amongst themselves, criticising one another's treatments as worthless. Fortunes were made by those whose practices were endorsed by the wealthy and powerful. People have always had an insatiable appetite for knowledge about health and disease, and we're no different today compared to the Georgians. We want to find cures for conditions such as arthritis, multiple sclerosis and Parkinson's disease, and new technology is promoted as the greatest thing ever. Stem cells are one of the latest things to excite people in their search for new and better treatments. Just like in Georgian times, healthcare providers advertise their treatments and argue with one another about who is right and who has the best outcomes. New implants, robots and artificial intelligence are touted as the way forward, without any hard evidence to say they're any better than what we already do. Stem cells could provide new treatments for many conditions. They're formed when we're conceived and they're the building blocks for our tissues and organs. In some cases they can be stimulated to make them grow into different tissues. If you want more information, my advice is to start at the website of the International Society for Stem Cell Research. There's lots of very clear information here about what stem cells are and how they can be used. Keep an open mind, but don't believe everything that you read on Google. Here in Southampton, we're very lucky to have one of the world's greatest stem cell scientists, Richard Arefo. Richard and his team have pioneered the use of stem cells in the treatment of musculoskeletal disease such as bone loss and arthritis, and their work is the foundation for clinical trials which will help us to develop new treatments for the benefit of all. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching that little video about stem cells. I think stem cells have got huge potential, but we've got to understand much more about how they work, how to use them safely and effectively. If you've got any questions about stem cells or hip surgery in general, please get in touch. If you like the channel, please let me know and please subscribe. Thanks again for watching. I'm Jeremy Latham, I'm the hip surgeon.